tonight. I hope that this is okay. If you don't want to be seen, you can use your screen. Let us start by introducing a bit this why this webinar came about. Okay. My name is Tiziana O'Hara. You are all welcome. I'm working for an organization called Co-operative Alternatives. And this webinar is part of a good practice series sponsored by the Belfast City Council. Practically today, we will talk about one subject, open food networks, with our colleague in UK and our colleagues in Ireland, and how they have developed this concept in their own constituency, but also give us the contents and the demonstration of this platform. So I think that will be a very interesting session. So there is a bit of practical demonstration as well. But this webinar is part of a raising awareness and events that the Belfast City Council has tasked cooperative alternatives to deliver around the concept of cooperatives and cooperation. So we started in December. We did a bit of research with the University College Cork. We presented some of their papers. We also done a bit of collaboration with our colleagues in the south of Ireland on a project called Feeding Ourselves through the Solidarity Network that is emerging, especially driven by our colleague across the border. We also done a training webinar, New Beginnings, How and Why Set Up a Cooperative, that you can find as a recorded webinar on our website. And today, well, it's an Open Food Networks show, so we will go into it very soon. But also, we have launched a UK COP Women's Voice. So if you have the chance and you wanted to hear women's voice on Women's International Day, and by the way, happy Women's International Day to everybody here. You can actually visit the News Co-op, and we are part of that. We were interviewed as part of that exercise. In the future, we are going to target particular type of topics and again, bring it back how cooperation and mutuality can be part of that thinking. All this is through the support program of social enterprise cooperatives. We do also mentoring and coaching in Northern Ireland only. And we have a seed funding for cooperative registration. So please do use this program if you can. We have also an enormous amount of cooperative resources, and sorry, it's enormous for us because we didn't have them before. So please do visit our website. We have a new frequently asked question, webinars recorded, new case studies, and thank you for visiting. And more questions, if you have more questions, just get in touch. Here we are today. Tonight, thank you first of all to Joe da Silva and Evonne Boland for giving up a part of their evenings to really tell us about their experience of the Open Food Network in UK and Open Food Network in Ireland. Joe really has joined the network in UK quite recently, just in the lockdown, and she told us that during the first lockdown, Open Food Network UK increased by 800%. So really is something very trendy now and something that can help e-commerce across quite a lot of food initiatives. So something that we should be aware, because we know that food initiatives, even in this part of the UK, are actually increasing. And we have people representing those shops and food initiatives tonight. So we will want to hear about that. Evonne has been instead a driver of the network in the south of Ireland. Jurisdictionally, we are different, but again, her experience will be very valuable. So here it is, my time is up, and let us go around maybe a bit of, to Joe first, and ask Joe to introduce this idea. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, hello everybody. It's really great to be here. I am part of the team at the Open Food Network UK. I have been with the team, yes, about 2.5, nearly 3 years now. So yeah, I joined in March 2020 at the time of COVID lockdown craziness. I started volunteering because the sort of issues that we were having with food supply chains really worried me, and this felt like a solution, a really good solution. And I come from a sort of digital background, so it really appealed to me. So I did a bit of volunteering for them. I was just data inputting on Excel spreadsheets, and then was offered some paid hours, and now I do a couple of things there. My dog's trying to come. I help new users get on board. I sort of nurture them to become a user of the platform. Talk through. I introduce the platform to lots of people, and I also am working on a project at the moment called Resilient Green Spaces, which is a really nice big project funded by the Welsh Government, where we're setting up our arm of it. There's lots of different arms in terms of getting more people trained up with horticulture and doing some planting orchards, getting some more allotments set up, and we're setting up 5 food hubs in Wales. So that's been going on for a while, and that's been a really exciting project. But I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about the Open Food Network, because yeah, I'm going to just give you a bit of an introduction as to what it is, and I'm going to dive straight in and give you a bit of a demo of what it is. Please feel free to ask questions as we go along. Do jump in before I move on to something else. I'm happy for this to be a total open conversation. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, share that. And I want to go, it's always a bit of a thing, getting all the Zoom bits in the right place so you can access what you need. So this is a map of all of the people that are using the Open Food Network in the UK currently. And we're actually a global organisation. So it started in Australia. And the Open Food Network is essentially a software platform, is a website, is a tool that people can use to create short supply chains within their local area. So it's getting products, predominantly food products, but we do a lot of products like flowers and things like that, and products that come out of ecological farming. And we get those products to the people, the customers in the community, as easily as possible, not sucking out all the money from it, so that the people who are producing the food get a fair price. So that's what we're all about. So yeah, we're a community of farmers and growers. We're a cooperative. We are open source, and what that means is that the technology is not owned by anybody. It is done collaboratively, and the people who are building the software and developing it are the people who are using it. So they are the farmers, and they are the growers, and they are the food producers. And we've got developers all over the world. Some are paid positions, some are volunteering because they just want to make improvements to the platform that will help them. But yeah, it was brought to the UK, I think it was about 8 years ago. I feel like I've been saying 6 years for a long time, but I've been with the OFN for a couple of years now, so that's out of date now. So it must be maybe 8 or 9 years, maybe 10 years. It's one of those things no one really knows. But yeah, basically people were trying to, food cooperatives, a couple of food cooperatives, one in the Forest of Dean, one in Stroud, they were trying to get some technology that did this, and they tried to build their own, and it didn't work. Well, it did work for a short time, but with technology, you have to keep updating it, you have to keep working on it. And they didn't want to be wasting their time trying to figure out how to code stuff and how to make websites work. They wanted to get on with making good food available to local people. So they brought this technology over, and the technology, what's great about it is it kind of washes its own face. It does its own thing because it's collaborated on by so many people all over the world, and it is built specifically for people with food and food related products. So it's completely relevant to what people are doing. So yeah, let me show you. Oh gosh, I need to move some things around on my screen. Let me get rid of that. I don't need that. Okay, so if I whiz in, so there are tractor symbols, and there are sort of place marker symbols. So the tractor symbols, they are producers, food producers. So they could be brewers, an orchard, a baker, market garden making growing veg. They could be livestock farmers. They could be a dairy. They could be flour growers. They could be chutney makers. It's anything that, I mean, I always say it's anything that you'd find in a farmer's market, you know. So that's what that's who all the food producers are. And then the little place symbols, sort of, there's one there. These are what we call the food hubs. So these could be sorry, I have written some names. So these could be like a larder, or they could be a food bank, or they could be a larger sort of food hub. So for example, there's a couple that are quite near to me, and I'm going to show you in a minute. And what we mean by a food hub is where you've got multiple producers bringing their products together, and then distributing it to customers, sort of all packed together. So it's almost like you can create almost like a supermarket through this, so that you can have bread from the local baker, you can have eggs from the local farmer, you can have meat, you can have milk. So you can bring all of those products together, and that's where the open food technology just becomes amazing, because it makes it so easy for people to sort of manage these multiple producers and multiple foods coming in from different directions and then going out to different directions. So yeah, it's really, but it doesn't have to be a physical location either. So some people use like a school hall to distribute this, a local pub, a local farm shop, or yeah. So it can be done in any way. I mean, it's sort of, when it was first set up, there were lots of people using it for a sort of cooperative model. So they'd be buying in wholesale products, and then distributing it to local people, to mean that the prices would come down. And actually, we've seen a lot of, with the cost of living crisis, we've seen a lot of food cooperatives in that traditional model setting up again on the open food network, because technology makes it very easy for them to do that. But when you look at this map, what's great about it is it's all about the power of the network. So everybody on here, everybody who's got a tractor or a placeholder, they can all see each other's products, and they can all sell each other's products. So where you've got big groups of loads of producers around, these guys can all sell each other's products, and they can all sort of work together to get products out to people. So I'm going to show you one. So yeah, it's all about building short supply chains. So right, I want to go to Seaton, which is not that far away from me, in south of England. Oh gosh. Probably Silverstone. There they are. Seaton. Okay. No. Okay, I'm going to show you in my backyard. So when you click on one of the locators on the map, it pops up and gives you just a bit of an overview of these guys. So I'm just going to talk about in my backyard, because they are actually in my backyard. They're just down the road. And they're a really good example of how to use this technology. So they've put a bit of information on here. So, and they've got their website there. So let's go and have a look at what they're up to. So they've actually got their own website, which is great, because they're able to give a lot of information and a lot of really beautiful visuals about what it is that they do. They're all about connecting the community with fresh and healthy local food, which is what a lot of people are doing in using the technology. And they've got lots of information about how it works, collection points, home deliveries, which I will go through in a minute. So they've got a really lovely website that people can sign up to their mailing list. They've got links through to Facebook and Twitter. And then if you actually want to order from their shop, that is where you click through to here. And this is where the Open Food Network technology comes into its own, because you can just link through to it. You've got your own individual shop front. So this is their shop at the top, openfoodnetwork.org.uk/in-my-backyard/shop. And they can share this with whoever they want, and they can put loads of information on here. So we've got notices here. So it's just really useful information for their customers, explaining when they're open and when they close. So we use something called order cycles. We say food grows in cycles, and you order food in food cycles. So order cycles is, so these guys are open for orders from 8 p.m. each Friday until 8 p.m. on Wednesday. So I've got about 35 minutes until this shop closes. I have to show you it. So if you try and click onto it later, we won't, after 8 o'clock, we won't be able to access it, I'm afraid. So yeah, they're open for Friday until Wednesday. All of their products have been uploaded. They've gone on and they've said, yep, I've got potatoes in stock, I've got eggs in stock. So this is all their individual producer done this. They've said, yeah, I've just had a load of purple sprouting broccoli that's going to be ready, so I'm going to put that up, that's available. So they've gone through and they've chosen all the products that are going to be available to order. They've put in how many of those that are going to be ready, or they might say it's unlimited. Maybe someone is going to be spending the whole of Thursday baking all the products that they've had an order for, so it can work however you need it to. And then so then the order cycle will close tonight. And then when are they ordering? So then orders are ready for collection on Friday afternoon/evening. And this is what a lot of our food hubs tend to do. Friday seems to be the day when they collect all of their orders together. So they send reports off to their producers and say, right, these are how many of your products have been ordered. You need to get it to us by this point, or it might be that they go and pick them up. And then there's a process where they pick and pack everything and they get it to all of their customers. So yeah, so they do, they've got a load of information here about volunteer buddy scheme. This is quite nice actually. So they've said some people will have difficulties reaching a collection point, so you can find a friend, a delivery buddy, who can get that to you if you're not able to, and if you can't pay a delivery fee, sorry, instead of paying a delivery fee, if you're able to make a voluntary donation, that will go towards the running of this. And then they've got loads of information about how to order, and then about In My Backyard. So they've been able to put loads of really useful information for their customers up here, which is brilliant. The more information you can put up there, the better. There's an About tab, so they've pulled in quite a lot of information from their website. They've copied and pasted it over so it looks like their website. And the design of the Open Food Network platform is very much designed to be very neutral, very functional. You know, we see ourselves as invisible, so everybody uses the platform how they need it to. We don't have, you know, strong branding or a strong personality. It's sort of neutral for people to be able to use it however they see fit. They've got a list of all of their producers. So these guys are a pretty big, not our biggest food hub, but they're a pretty big food hub. And sorry, the dog is just doing something, making a noise. Yeah, they've got all of their producers on here, and you can click through and it will give you a bit. So this is very similar to where you clicked on from the map. It'll give you some information about them. So yeah, there's so Apricot Centre down the road. So it's just explaining who they are, what our produce is. But yeah, anybody can come along and approach In My Backyard and say, look, I'm a local producer. Can I be part of your food hub? And then there's a bit of information about contact us, and we always encourage people to link through to their social media channels where you can put gorgeous visuals about what it is you do, and you can join groups as well. So I wasn't going to talk about this, but if people are interested in wider food distribution networks. I can talk about the Good Food Loop if anybody wants to hear it. It's basically a load of producers, food hubs down in the southwest of England have clubbed together, and where vans are, or a van is moving between them to share produce, they're really making the most of that and making sure that there's no empty vans, that they're actually pushing produce all the way around Devon and Dorset and Cornwall to get it to lots of different people. And there's no sense of competition. It's a sense of, let's get this food to as many people as possible and let's help each other out. And they've collaborated on this and they've all worked together with this, and it's something that's quite new but very cool. So that's right. And then I will go to the shop. So first of all, they make sure I'm just making sure I've said everything I wanted to. Yeah, so they're actually doing something called, they're sort of a pay it forward system. So a lot of food hubs, and I mean, Evonne and I were chatting yesterday, and we were saying, when you're doing a demonstration of a product or an organization you work for, it's very easy to fall into the trap of saying, oh, it's brilliant, it's great, you know, it's the best thing since sliced bread. But actually, it's very difficult running a food hub at the moment. You know, we've got the cost of living crisis. Lots of people can't afford this amazing local food, because we want to make sure the farmers are getting paid as well. The farmers are having to pay out more because of rising energy prices. So, you know, it's a difficult climate, and people are trying to support their communities as much as possible, and they're trying to get this food to as many people as possible. And one way that you can do that is by doing a pay it forward scheme, where people who are able to pay more can donate slightly more, and then that money is put into a pot, and then you can be getting boxes of veg and food out to people who wouldn't normally be able to afford it. So that's one way that's happening. There's healthy food vouchers can be accepted on the Open Food Network system. It's frustrating because that scheme just really hasn't had the uptake that it could have done. But you can use healthy start vouchers as a payment method, which is great. But yeah, it's a really tricky one, and we've actually been doing a series of webinars all about food equity and how bringing different food hubs together and talking about how different hubs and different producers are trying to tackle the issues with people not being able to afford local food. And we've been doing lots of interesting projects. Like in Wales, we're doing a procurement project at the moment where getting the local food into schools and into care homes and prisons, and educating young children on local food, and really trying to find different ways that we can get locally produced, really good quality, high nutrient density food to people who are in that local community. So sorry, that was a bit of a ramble. But yeah, this is a way that people can put in a donation that will go to the pay it forward scheme. What I wanted to show you is, where are they? So one thing we're really keen on at the Open Food Network is transparency in the pricing. Obviously, you go into the supermarket and buy your food, you have no idea how much of that money is actually going to the producer. I mean, I imagine it's pretty small, but you don't know. So this we do a price breakdown, so you can see how much of a fee is going towards the food hub running costs, and this is the Southwest Good Food Network 10% distribution fee. So what that means is, I think this is a product that's coming from elsewhere within the Good Food Loop, so you're paying 10% extra to get that food from slightly further away brought in, and then you can see the actual item cost that goes to the food producer. In this case, it's Forest Fungi. So yeah, we're really keen on transparent pricing, and what we usually say is that in order for food hub managers, people who are managing this, to make sort of break even and be able to pay themselves, they will usually charge about 20 to 40% admin fee on top of the products. So that's what they're doing. So they've got 25% sale fee there. Sorry, my son's just walked in. I'm just gonna see what he's up to. That's all right. Sorry.
Just to say, while Joe was talking there, you know, feel free to pop any questions in the chat, and I'll answer them as they crop up if you don't want to speak as well in the group. And just maybe I'll pick up where Joe has left off there. Yeah, so just she's talking about the hub administration fee. So that's something that's so one of the principles of Open Food Network is subsidiarity, basically. So any users, whether they be hubs or direct producers, they choose their own prices, they choose their own administration fee. You know, that's what Joe's referring to there is the average that they're seeing in the UK market, but it really is totally up to the hub manager themselves as to what fee they might set to meet their own very specific needs and overheads and stuff. And I'll pass back over to Joe there if you're right.
I am. Thank you very much. Yes. So I was going to do is pop a couple of things into the basket to show you what it looks like when you actually go ahead and buy something. So I'm gonna get some mushrooms. Oh, garlic. Need a bit of garlic, and definitely gonna get some apples. So some stuff out the way. So I've put a couple of things into the basket. So I'm going to go, you can see there what you've got in there, and then I'm going to go to checkout. Okay. So what I wanted to show you guys is the shipping info is quite good because they've got loads of different collection points for In My Backyard. So yeah, there's loads of different places, and you can set up as many of these as you want, and they can be completely flexible. So you can do delivery, you can put delivery fees on it, you can ask people to collect from different places. As I said, they've got this really cool buddy system where people can collect for other people and put a donation in. And yeah, these have all been completely created. So yeah, totally flexible. And there are different payment options as well. So you could do backs, you could do bank transfer, you could do cash on delivery, or you could do card payments. And we use a payment provider called Stripe, who are slightly cheaper and more ethical than PayPal. So if you did want to do card payments, there's just a process of setting that up. And I think they charge between 1 and 3%. I think it's slightly different for whether you are paying in euros or in pounds. But yeah, there's a small fee that they will pay, that they will charge you. So yeah, so it's just a case of the customers would come along, they put their information in. It's like any other website that you'd use. You click what your shipping info is, you click how you want to pay, and then you click place order now. That will go through to In My Backyard, and then they will be sending reports out to all their producers, and they will be delivering that to me on Friday afternoon. And that's how it all works. And then the whole process starts all over again when they open up the next order cycle. So I just wanted to show you if I can move the Zoom thing. So in terms of supporting people to use the platform, I'll go straight into Meet the Team actually, because within the OFN UK team, we've got loads of people working for us. Most people are part-time, some people are volunteering, some people are started out volunteering and got paid hours, which is what most people are doing. We're sort of all over the place. So yeah, so myself and Nick, we tend to work helping people get set up on the platform. So that process is, we have a user guide actually, let's go to the user guide now. So we have a user guide. So some people will completely just do this off their own back, and they don't necessarily want or need to talk to anybody. They'll come along, they'll read the user guide, it will walk them through. There's videos on there. Walks you through it all. It can make it really, really easy to get set up, and a lot of people have said that. They've said, oh, I'm not a techie person, but actually I found it quite intuitive and easy to get set up on this. If you do want some support, then you can email us. We've got a support team. You can get in touch with Nick and I, and we can do Zoom chats with you and things like that to help you get set up. And then we have, who else is interesting? Kay, she heads up our sort of communications team, and that is a team of people who are supporting the users of the platform in their marketing. So we do a bit of marketing ourselves, but as I say, we're sort of the invisible thing. No, but not many people, unless they know about food supply chains, will know about the Open Food Network, because it's all about the people who are using the platform. But Kay, along with Janai and Liberty, they all work on helping hubs to improve their marketing and come up with a communications plan and things like that. Erin's our finance person, and then we've got Bethan and Pat, and they are in our support team. So if you become a user of the platform, you'll probably get to know Bethan and Pat quite well, because, well, I hope not too well, because it's all about if you need help, you get in contact with them. So hopefully you won't need too much help, but they're incredibly helpful. You just email support@openfoodnetwork.org.uk. They will get back to you within 48 hours, and they're brilliant at helping people. 9 times out of 10, it's, oh, okay, you just need to do this, and then this will happen, so they're very, very good at helping people to use the platform if they've got a bit stuck. And yeah, the rest of the guys sort of work on bespoke sort of projects and things like that, and do various fundraising activities, because we do charge platform fees. Gosh, that was a nice smooth transition to get from here to there. So we do charge people to use the platform, but not very much. So basically, if you are trading under £500 a month, we won't charge you. We are working on creating a voluntary donation, but people have never been that keen, or we've done it in the past. Fair enough. But yeah, we because we are a not-for-profit and we have a lot of funded projects that we work on, we are able to be free for people who are just sort of testing the water, or who just want to test it out. And that works really well for a lot of people, to just come along and test it and get set up and send it to a few people that they know and see if it's going to work for them. So yeah, that's as they that's because we aren't managing to get that whole team of people paid on just our platform fees. We do a lot of grant funding, and we do collaborate with a lot of our users on grant funding as well. We do a hell of a lot of it. So if you do start to use the platform, or if you even don't use the platform and you want to partner with us on a funding bid, we're more than happy to do that. And then once people start to get bigger, so the big hubs, like in my backyard, most of them are paying 2.4%. So what we do say to people is that when you're getting set up and you're setting that administration fee, think about that 2.4% and how much you're going to need to set that, to make sure that you're getting enough money to pay for that fee, along with if you're using Stripe, and paying someone to do it, things like that. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to talk about. So I will hand over to you guys for any questions. I haven't been keeping a tab of the questions, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. Okay, Evonne, there are
just
questions.
going to field the questions, yeah, for Joe. There were just questions about the products, Joe, that can't be sold through the platform, and I was explaining how there's no rules set centrally, but that each instance manages that themselves. So maybe you'd say a little bit about the UK approach to the products that you allow to be sold or not.
Yes, this is an interesting one. So the only products we tell people you absolutely cannot sell are to do with Stripe, because to use Stripe, we're not allowed to do things like sell bombs and things from Russia. And there's all sorts of interesting, exciting things that we're not allowed to sell. So we keep a track of all of, I know it sounds ridiculous, but we keep a track of all of the new users and all of the products that they're selling to make sure there's nothing dodgy being sold. But we have a set of ethics, and we have a set of guiding principles about the products that we like to see on here. You know, we don't allow people to sell, you know, like pyramid schemes. We've had some of them come along before and they've gone, oh great, and free online selling platform, you know. So we keep really good tabs on what people are doing. If people are selling stuff that we're not happy with or we feel is not really aligned with our values, we will just get in touch with them and say, look, this is not really what we want to be doing. But we actually have hardly had any, I mean, since I've been part of the team, we had one dodgy case where someone was trying to sell some weird supplements for £200 as a weird fraud thing, and we shut them down straight away and dealt with that. We haven't really had anybody coming along who we're not happy with. Most of them have been agroecologically principled growers, trying to use organic principles where they can. We appreciate that it's quite expensive and time consuming to get organic certification. Lots of no dig, lots of you know, milking in the field if you're a dairy, lots of heritage seeds, things like that. And yeah, people just, because we don't really advertise, it all works through word of mouth. It's like, we always describe the Open Food Network as like this mycelium network of like underground fungi that just sort of spreads, and people, you know, start to chat at farmers markets and go, oh, why are we standing here in the rain every Saturday? There must be an easier way of doing it. And I say, oh, we use this platform and it's really cool, you know. So the word spreads out, and we've tended to stay really niche in what we do. But yeah, if people are doing stuff that we don't entirely agree with, we'll just get in contact with them and very, you know, politely ask them to stop, or just turn their shop front off if we feel we need to.
Great, yeah. So, and Tiziana was asking as well about the promotion. So you've almost answered that question there. So you don't do a whole lot of advertising or promoting of Open Food Network in the UK?
No, because if you look at the map, we're not everywhere. And we've got little pockets where there's absolutely loads of producers, and we've got areas, I mean, yeah, it would be unfair to start advertising it. To be fair, it looks fairly dense there, but not all of those people are actually actively using the platform at the moment. So yeah, it would be unfair to advertise a platform that isn't available to everybody, and it's a bit of a waste of resources. So we put a lot of our energy into just helping our hubs do their own advertising and do their marketing and communications.
Yeah, and there's another question just about ordering schedules. How do they decide, I guess, on their order cycles, or what are the factors that they need to consider when they're deciding on their order cycles?
It's usually decided for them once they start talking to their producers. They start to go, yeah, I make my bread ready for this day, and I can get this to you on this day. So yeah, it's down to when you can get the products, and it tends to be your order cycles will be open until about Wednesday night, Thursday, and then everybody just seems to do Friday morning. But everyone has a mad Friday who works within the food hub, and then comes down for the weekend, and then it starts over again next week. But yeah, it's all down to when people can get products to you, or when you can go and pick them up. It's all down to that.
And then just in terms of the user base in Northern Ireland, Joe, what's the usage like of the platform in Northern Ireland at the moment?
It's not high, and we would absolutely love to get more people using it. The thing with the network is, as soon as you start to get a bit of traction, more and more people start to use it. The more people are using it, the more powerful it becomes. It really is about the power of the network. We did have Belfast Food Co-op for a while, but I don't think they're trading anymore. I was going to check this today and I didn't, and I'm really sorry. But yeah, we haven't got loads at the moment, and we would love to get more. So yeah.
That's it from the chat, unless somebody
Brill.
wants to say something.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Oh, I'm just saying thank you, Joe. That was a very, very informative, a very interesting. And any more questions do we have? Joe, just one question on top of my mind. How many community shops do you have, or can they really use the platform to build up their community shop as well as the network and the supplier chain?
What do you mean by community shop?
Like a cooperative is set up like a greengrocers that they wanted to expand and use the platform to reach out to their own customers.
Yeah, quite a lot of people will have a physical location of sorts, and then we'll grow out from there. Really interesting. We had a big flurry of zero waste shops using the platform. They had a physical presence of a zero waste shop, and then they sort of decided to use that physical location as a springboard to do this. And I mean, yeah, some of the hubs in Wales, most of the hubs that we've been setting up in Wales have got a sort of small community shop, and the online platform has just meant that you don't have to have someone standing in a shop 7 days a week or 5 days a week or whatever you want to do. It reduces waste because you don't have products coming in and then sitting there and not being sold. And yeah, it's a really nice add-on. And some people will use it for everything they do, and then most people will use it sort of in tandem with other routes to market and with other ways of getting this food to people. So yeah, it can be incredibly flexible.
And Joe, another question. The more and more you're talking, the more questions are coming to my mind. So let us talk about services. Suppose that one of our community kind of groups not only is about the produce, but it's also serving the community through particular type of help. I don't know, maybe delivering, some kind of prescriptions. Chemistry prescription or a newspaper service. I don't know. Would it be possible to do it through the platform as well as selling your services as well as your produce?
I think if you I mean, yeah, if you think about a supermarket, they sell newspapers and they sell medicines and things like that. I think you could. To be honest, I haven't seen it done very much. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, it is possible because the way that you're set up. So when you set up a product, you can do an individual item. So yeah, a lot of people are putting in add-on products, like a lot of the, if you're a market garden, you often put flowers and bunches of herbs and things like that in as well. But yeah, I haven't seen that. It's an interesting idea, and I don't see why it couldn't happen, but I also don't know why it hasn't happened yet.
Okay. And that loop, that coordination of sharing the transport. The transport, as we know, is the highest cost for any kind of community initiative in this moment. Sharing that is fantastic. Would you like to say or give us a more example of that? Because I think that will work, especially in rural Ireland in the north here.
Yeah. Okay. If you give me a minute, I've got a really nice presentation I can share. So give me a second to find that. I'm not sharing at the moment, am I?
You're sharing.
Right. Oh, I'm in my emails. Let me stop sharing. Sorry. Okay. Let me see.
Guys, think about more questions. I know Rodney and Holly are in the middle of setting up a greengrocer. I know that Robert is a grower. Sean is a grower as well. Brian is interested in co-ops. Anita, I don't know you, but if you have a question, this is the right time. Jill is an horticulturalist as well, a part of Cooperative Alternatives. So we have a good variety of people that could use this platform. Ask questions.
Yeah.
Rodney.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask, it was me was asking the questions about how long the network was going and so on, because I did look at the map in Northern Ireland, and obviously there aren't many users here, but I was just wondering in England, what really sparked off, what got the momentum going in terms of encouraging lots of others to register in the first place?
It's really just been word of mouth. So so how did it happen? So somebody from the Forest of Dean and Stroud, they brought it here. Somebody, Lynn from Forest of Dean knew a lady called Sarah from Tamar Grey Local, who's in the southwest. She's built up a massive food hub and has been quite instrumental in Good Food Loop. Literally, she was at a farmer's market with someone from In My Backyard who, and they got talking and she was telling them about them. The guy from In My Backyard is now he's one of the OFN directors. Sarah from Tamar is one of the OFN directors. And literally from the southwest of England, it's just grown and grown and grown and grown, which has been amazing. And then where we've been doing this project in Wales, that there've been quite a few that have been using it, but as part of this funded program that we're doing, we've been getting the food hubs in Wales to go down and see what they're up to at Tamar Grey Local and In My Backyard. So the hubs have all been training each other. And then, there's another guy called, what's he called? Ian? No. Duncan Catchpole from Cambridge Food Hub. He's a massive advocate of community food and of using open food network platforms. So he goes out there and tells people about it. We do a lot of events where we talk about routes to market, and we do lots of speaking slots, and people will go, I've heard of you guys, so and so's been using it. So yeah, it's just word of mouth, and it's just people using it and seeing it and going, that looks quite cool. I think I'd like to try that. And I think we make it, I like to think we make it quite easy, especially with not having a setup fee. There are other platforms out there and they do charge quite a high setup fee. So we don't have that barrier, so people can literally just come along and try it, and if it's not for them, it's not for them. If it is, great, let's keep going with it.
Joe, could I ask? Oh,
Sorry, Jill, go.
No, just only a very quick question. Could I just ask, I know you mentioned Belfast Food Co-op,
Yes.
just why the uptake here in Northern Ireland isn't as high? Has there been, has there not been as much promotion here, or do you just find it harder maybe to get inroads into the market here?
Do you know what? It's probably because we don't have any OFM people there. I mean, if I think about the people who are part of the organisation, Nick, who does the onboarding, he was one of the founding members of the Stroud Food Co-op. As I say, Sarah she's in the southwest. I'm down in the south of England. I'm desperately trying to get more people onto it. I think it's just where we have people who are really engaged with the platform or working for the platform or volunteering. They seem to be really good advocates for it, and I think we just haven't had people on the ground in Northern Ireland, to be honest.
Well, as part of Co-op Alternatives, we also have then co-op. It's called Good to Grow, so it's Northern Ireland's horticultural co-op. So amazing. Maybe we can talk at some point.
Definitely.
Yeah,
amazing. I'd love to. Yeah.
Okay. You don't want to hog the whole thing. That's me.
Fantastic. Anita, sorry.
Hi, sorry. So I run a social enterprise for autism where we are growing fresh produce. I just want to kind of just understand, so the opportunities for Northern Ireland is to form a hub, or is for growers to register as suppliers?
Both, either. Anybody can come along as an individual supplier. If you're someone who's got apples growing on your apple trees in your back garden, you could set yourself up and you could sell them to the people in your local community or give them away to free. It's just the platform is just a distribution network. The more people you get, the more powerful it becomes, and you can then set up a food hub, which is amazing. But it does both as well. And we've got loads of people who have just stumbled upon Open Food Network. They're an individual who's making chutney or baking breads. We seem to have a bit of an influx. We've got loads of bakeries that suddenly started using us, and they've been telling their friends who are in the bakery industry about us. So we've had a flurry of really lovely bakeries setting up, and they are literally just one food producer getting to their customers. So yeah, absolutely, you can do that as well with the platform.
So as a grower, is it something that we can go on currently, or is it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, anybody can register. You can either use the user guide to get yourself set up, or send me an email. I can walk through it with you on a Zoom call, and we can get you set up.
Great. Yeah, is that an option? Yeah, would that be an option? Just to know a bit more, and just have set up just a chat or a meeting, just just a bit more.
Definitely,
Yeah,
that'd be really good.
Joe, one quick question about the technology platform. They need to update all the time. Are there charges to update the platform, or are there charges to change and suit the platform to each single situation?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So updates do happen all the time, and they are covered by the platform fees and by the grant funding that we have. So you don't have to. You pay if you're putting £500 plus through your platform a month. You will be paying platform fees, and they will contribute to the updates. But we've got a database of people that are signed up to our newsletter, and every time we do an update, we send it out to them and say, like, these are the exciting things that are happening. And second question, yes. So we do something called integrations. So if you're using the platform and you're thinking, there's this one thing that's really annoying, it's quite manual, and I have to take quite a lot of time to do this, and I feel like this could be made easier, get in touch with us, talk to our support team, and quite often they will be able to build you something bespoke. Quite often it's like a really whizzy spreadsheet that looks simple to use, but there's loads of stuff going on in the background that you've built. Sometimes it can be more complex. We try not to put too many bolt-ons to the technology because it becomes unwieldy, but also if there are things that enough people are saying that they want, they then go into like the global development team, and those things will get worked on. So we have, as you can imagine, a massive long list of things that we'd love to do, and yeah, if enough people make enough noise about stuff that they think needs to be done, then that will get fed to the global development team, and then they will endeavour to work on that as quickly as possible and get it updated. But yeah, the integrations are quite good. They can be quite nice little quick fixes, and they're quite low cost. So I think they cost about £50 plus VAT to do an integration. We do a fair amount of those for people.
Joe, do you mind if we can hear also Evonne's experience just for 5 minutes, maybe? Do you mind before we can go to your other presentation, if we have the time? This conversation is so interesting. And believe it or not, this is the first kind of encounter we have with the network. And so I'm very grateful. Any ideas as well to bring forward this opportunity in Northern Ireland? Fantastic. Evonne, tell us a bit more about Ireland as well.
Thanks, Tiziana. So I'll start with my own personal route to OFN, and give you a little bit about the story then in Ireland in the Republic over the last couple of years. So up until COVID closed the doors, I was running a local food and craft market here in my hometown. It was a monthly thing. It was a hobby, but it was quite successful and quite popular. But COVID closed the doors of our venue, and we actually we couldn't restart for 2 years. So at the shutdown stage, I had been thinking for quite a while about trying to find an online complement, I suppose, to the market. I mean, I didn't want to run a weekly market, but I was very conscious that food really, needed a weekly outlet. So I was looking at online alternatives and came across OFN, which at the time wasn't deployed in Ireland, but it had been on the radar of the people in the community and regenerative food space here in Ireland, particularly in the Eco Village in Cloughjordan in Tipperary. The OFN team had been over to their annual Feeding Ourselves event and presented, so it was on the radar. But obviously the lockdowns and that kind of concentrated the minds, and we came together, a group of people, myself included, people from co-ops, transition towns, CSA network as well. A bit of a motley crew all came together to try and deploy the OFN software here in Ireland, which we did towards the end of 2020. And then we established a co-op in early 2021 to hold the platform. And the objective is that would be a solidarity co-op of platform users and producers and customers and other stakeholders interested in the local food systems movement, I suppose. So it's been fully voluntary, here in Ireland until very, very recently. We got some funding support last year from Rethink Ireland, who supported us on an accelerator program and with some funding as well. And we've been successful in the last couple of months securing funding for a program with the Community Climate Action Program here, which is mandating us to develop a toolkit for community food hubs. So that's where we see the real opportunity, especially in as Tiziana said, in rural places. It's really hard to get scale in terms of custom when you're only offering a part of the shopping basket, and we think there's real power in producers coming together, and communities, consumers, eaters taking a proactive role in facilitating that. So we're often told that communities need to support their local producers and try to reduce the food miles and all of that, and all of the other great things that strong local food systems can bring to communities in terms of livelihoods and economic resilience as well for the community. But it's not always clear what steps communities can take from the buyer side, and we think that the opportunity to take control of access to your local food via a community food hub is a really great opportunity. There aren't a lot of those in Ireland. Certainly in the Republic, we don't have a lot of community-run food hubs. There are a couple of co-ops. There are markets, of course, physical markets. Not even a whole lot in certain regions. But the idea of places like maybe your local community centre, or your local family resource centre, or other community institutions, if you like, having food hubs, I think there's a great opportunity there, and as well as the physical distribution of the food, there's an opportunity for those hubs to take a proactive role in educating the community around what's seasonal food and how to use it, and bringing the producers into the community, and maybe having workshops and other types of little bit more kind of engaging experiences, not just distributing the food. So that's what we're looking at the moment. This project that I'm working on is going to involve piloting 5 of those hubs around the country. One of them here in Newbridge. I'm based in Newbridge, County Kildare, and I can tell you straight up that it's not easy. I'm struggling to find producers, would you believe, locally. In other parts of the country, they're swamped. Down in Cloughjordan, as you can imagine, that's not their problem. They're falling over local producers, which is really great. But in some parts of the country, it can be a struggle. So I guess the challenges are very specific to the context you're operating in. But yeah, we see it as a huge opportunity, and we see OFN as the tool to enable that. Yeah, we'd welcome any collaboration with users of the platform in Northern Ireland. We are, Tiziana referred to the Feeding Ourselves network there. I'll share the links in the chat. We have a newsletter we'd love you to sign up to. We're trying to bring the sector together, really, the whole regenerative and cooperative and community food sector. So whether they be growers or co-ops or social farms, community gardens, or food hubs, we think there's strength in coming together and trying to give voice to that sector as a whole. And the distribution element is a part of that. It's an important part of it, but it's it's the growing as well, and it's the eating as well. So and everything in between. So yeah, I'll share those links in the chat, and hopefully we'll come across you again at some point, and maybe we'll have an opportunity to get together physically at some of our events.
Thank you, Yvonne. We hope to do that. Yvonne, just to go, a couple of questions that came to my mind when you were talking before opening to the floor. How many users now the network has in the south of Ireland?
We don't have a lot. We had more hubs during COVID, and some of them actually stopped. They started and stopped within COVID and went back to physical distribution only. So we have a lot more physical shop or direct producer shop fronts than we have hubs. So we have maybe, I would say, 4 probably hubs operating, and we have maybe 20 shop fronts at the moment. So we're really trying to develop that, get people on. First of all, get them on the map, get them setting up their profiles. So that's an important starting point. You can put yourself on the map, even if you don't use the platform for your sales, just in terms of raising a bit of awareness and visibility and announcing yourself to your community. So that's where I'm starting here locally, and it's where we start generally with people, is just asking them to set themselves up on the map. And there were, I suppose, with the timing, because we didn't have the platform ready to go when COVID first hit, some of the larger outlets, maybe larger co-ops or farms, that they might have set up their own online platforms, their own shops. Some of them are great, some of them are not so great, but I suppose when you've invested time and energy and resources into your own platform, it can be hard then to switch over. So I think in time, I think OFN will compete well with even some people's own platforms, but it's about, I suppose, getting the word out there, and we haven't had the resources to be able to do that really until now, and now we have few resources, but we've at least a bit more than we had before. And just to say, I think one of the important things for us, just as a distinguishing point, is the user owned characteristic. There is there are alternatives, proprietary alternatives out there, but we feel it's important that the tools that we use are user owned, and that really sets us apart, I think, from alternatives. And there were, experiences elsewhere in the UK. I think it happened, Joe, wasn't it? But where one particular proprietary software platform, with very short notice, it was bought by some venture capitalists who decided from one moment to the next that the UK market was no longer of any interest to them, so they pulled out. And the platform users at the time were left with a couple of months, I think, to move their business elsewhere. And thankfully, a number of them moved to the OFN at the time. But I think it's important that the values of user ownership are recognised and promoted and defended as well. So it's important to us.
Very interesting. Any questions for Evonne? Or again, Joe? Just like a point of clarification, maybe, guys. So if any groups in Northern Ireland will be setting up under the OFN UK jurisdiction, is that correct? But we can collaborate with Ireland. So is that what is the home if any of these groups tonight wants to join OFN or the Open Food Network? Which one should they choose?
Yeah, it would be UK if you're in Northern Ireland.
Good. Yeah. And it's also because of the currency, I guess, because yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. There at the moment there isn't a way to use multiple currencies. So yeah, it would
yeah,
be
no, it's perfect. Just to have that clarified.
Yeah. Can I just very briefly, Evonne, maybe think of a project that we're working on at the moment, when she mentioned the different platforms that are available, because with the Open Food Network, it's really difficult where people are using other platforms, and then obviously it's a big project to move them over to ours, if that's what they want to do, or the risk of platforms closing. The one you mentioned, I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name, but they closed just before Christmas, which was really, really devastating for people who were using it. But yeah, they really quickly clubbed together and actually created their own hub on the Open Food Network, just as a temporary measure. We're actually doing a project at the moment called the Food Data Collaboration Project, where we have got together with some of the other biggest software platforms who are doing similar things to us. And it's a massive project. It's so that all of the technology speaks to each other, so that you can be integrating, if you're using Boxmaster or Ubi or Shopify, it's so that they can all talk to each other and you don't have to choose to have one. You can go across different platforms if you need to, because it's the similar what I was saying about the food hubs in the Southwest. It's like there's no point us all trying to compete with each other. We're all trying to just get local food to local people at the end of the day. So if we can collaborate and work together and pool our resources to do that, then we will. So that's a couple of the people on the Meet the Team page, Gareth and Sophie. That's a specific project that they're working on that's funded by National Lottery to do a big collaborative software platform thing, which is really cool.
We will look forward to read your report or the research that you're doing.
It's very cool.
Thank you for that. We know that some of our co-ops, especially the craft beers co-op, will use Shopify. Is that the name? Yes, they use that. So integration with other platform, that will be very important. Very, very important.
Could I ask a question, please? In terms of the financial transactions, how do they take place? Did they go into an account within Open OFN? Is that how it works? And then the transactions are forwarded? Is that
you use your own account? So none of the money comes to us. You create an account. So yeah, if you're just someone who's got a market garden, then you set up an account and the money goes straight to you. So yeah, if you're doing it credit and debit card, then you use Stripe. So you have to go up and set up your own Stripe account, which is linked to your bank account. And then when you get paid via Stripe, that goes straight to you and you pay the Stripe fees. If you're doing cash on delivery, people give you the cash. If you're doing bank transfer, you just put your bank details in. So yeah, the only time that the Open Food Network gets involved is when we are charging platform fees, and we will just we'll get in touch with you and say, look, you're at a position where you're going to be charged. And funnily enough, people seem to be really happy about it. They sort of go, that's really exciting, I've got to the point where I'm getting charged, which is quite nice. And we just create we just invoice you once a month. So yeah, we just send you an invoice for you guys to pay. So yeah, so no, Open Food Network don't hold any of the money, it's all handled yourself. But if you're managing a hub, so if you've set yourself up as in my backyard and you've got multiple producers who are feeding into your food hub, in my backyard will receive the money if they're doing it by sort of Stripe and things like that. They'll use their account, and then it's up to them to make sure that the individual producers are paid. So that's how that relationship works.
Okay, that's useful to know. Thank you.
Can I ask maybe a question to Nicole, because we have a representative of one of the councils of Northern Ireland. Nicole, just I pick your brain. I saw a lot of councils moving into the promotion of local food. You know, I was looking at Causeway Council, for instance. They have pages now promoting local food and try to also sell those local food. Is that what the council are thinking at this moment? And how is your reaction to what you hear tonight, of something like the Open Food Network?
Yeah. Well, it's something, there are a few different similar type initiatives, and what seems to be happening in other places. A colleague actually referenced one, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's in America, and it's basically where they're going out to young people and making them aware of how to grow their own produce, to nearly like overcome the barriers that people may be experiencing for like all the cost of living stuff, like the constantly increasing prices and just poverty in general, that you can actually grow your own food, and doing a bit of education around that. I must actually look into the name. I don't know if maybe anybody here knows what it's called, but one of my colleagues was actually speaking about it yesterday, so I must check with them what it was.
Funnily enough, I was talking to a former colleague of Tiziana's mind, Ross Tiziana, and he was talking about a number of, because we were all involved in a youth citizenship organization, and he's still involved, and he's a professor of youth studies in the University of Minnesota. So there's a whole range of programs like that. And if you were interested, the ones in Minnesota are Minnesota tends to be quite advanced in that area. I also had another colleague who in St. Louis who was working with older people and young people. So the older people transferring skills, not having the physical capacity anymore, but transferring the skills into younger people, and also not just the growing, but the food and cooking skills. So I can sort you out with that. So I presume you have a standard BCC email address.
Yeah.
I am ex Belfast City Council. So
okay. Yeah, so I'm just Irving N at belfastcity.gov.uk, and that's if anybody obviously wants to contact me about anything. But I am Tiziana, obviously, as you know, kind of we do have a commitment to helping just social enterprises and cooperatives especially, and we do have a lot of focus around trying to grow the number of cooperatives in the city as well. That our elected members are very interested in us trying to encourage, I suppose is the right word, to try to encourage people to think about setting up cooperatives. And I suppose it fits in really well with around food, and maybe something similar could be done to what we're speaking about in terms of the Open Food Network in Northern Ireland, or maybe more specifically in Belfast as well. Like, and as you know, there is a support program for that, that can provide that support, and that may be like connecting some of the already existing people who are doing this themselves, and maybe creating a new cooperative in that way. But we definitely do have the commitment around supporting this sector, and it would be great to see something like the Open Food Network in existence here, and to get more of an awareness of people just in general of shopping local and supporting their local businesses. I suppose probably something that's came up, and I was speaking with Kathy about yesterday, just in speaking to come into this, and she had referenced how that we're experiencing different shortages of like tomatoes and peppers and things like that we would outsource in, and it has then led to a shortage because we can't get them in. I think she said something about the floods somewhere. I could just about cook, never mind grow things. So I'm not overly familiar with exactly what happened, but I know there has been shortages. So it's maybe that kind of, and maybe, I don't know, council could maybe help out in an awareness piece of like, do you know you can do this yourself, or you can support a local business who sells this in your local area? Like, it could be something we could get a testimonial done around an organisation that's went through supports from council, because we can't just kind of randomly start promoting a certain organisation. But if you have been on one of council's support programmes, we can jump through that loophole in getting you to do a testimonial of you had support from Belfast City Council, which also then gets your organisation that bit of promotion, kind of off the back of that.
Oh, that's fantastic, because I think that we should really help some of the organization existing to get into this already functional platform that they probably have spent quite a considerable amount of money and time to develop. And given that we have both sides of the island and the east and west, really that what we should promote. But I really think this is an opportunity for us to continue this conversation. And maybe this is the beginning, and try to see how we can work, and we can work with these two lovely speakers that we had tonight. By the way, look in the chat, there is a bit more information posted by Evonne about the Solidarity Network and the work that they are doing down in the south. I can't believe it. It's already 8:30, almost there. So any final thoughts?
I just want to say thank you so much, everyone, for giving up your time to listen to me ramble. It was really nice to meet you all, and please do just, I've put my email address in the chat, just drop me an email if I can help at all. So thank you very much.
Evonne?
Can I?
Oh,
Tiziana?
sorry, Anita, please.
Sorry. Can I just check, Tiziana? I'm accessing this Zoom call from my mobile, and so could those links be emailed to us? The links that Evonne and Joe have shared in the chat. Is that an option? Just get them emailed?
I will keep that. I will keep that as on my to-do list.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Just to thank you, Joe and Evonne, for sharing that. That's really, really interesting. And thanks to Tiziana for setting it up.
Yeah.
I thought that you would have liked it, Rodney.
I do. I can really see the potential. I'm getting ideas.
And certainly, I mean, the Causeway Food Network ought to be on this platform. It's it's
Maybe Robert, you can tell them how
yeah, well,
interesting.
there's So I will be. I'll be talking. I'm actually talking at a thing tomorrow night. Where there'll be a chance to discuss it. So
The most powerful tool we have, it's our mouth. Word of mouth. Thank you very much. I see children coming to the play. I think we need to go.
My niece has just nipped in, so I'm going to head on. Thank you so much, guys. That was really, really informative. And yes, we can definitely pick up and look happy for anyone to contact me as well. I've already sent my email. It's just my surname, first initial at belfastcity.gov.uk.
You're in economic development then?
Yes. So I am under Kathy Keenan.
Oh yeah. I used to be just up the room. I was in tourism, culture, and arts. So
Okay.
To be just around the corner. So
in Northern Ireland, you always know somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't get away. But thank you, guys. And I will circulate as much information as possible, including the recording of this event, to the people that couldn't make it. Thank you, Evonne, and thank you, Joe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, take care. All the best.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.